Ezekiel Elliott, Meaney. That's what we got to talk about first. We have to give our takes. I know it's been 2 days and there's been a lot out there. I brought up the flex to say this. Rhamondre Stevenson went in the fourth round, essentially the third, because it's a super flex. So we got to knock him up around, reverse wise. He still went in the third, which is about a round drop, maybe half, because he's been floating around the end of the second round. The interesting thing I thought about it, Meaney, was not so much that Stevenson didn't fall, is that Zeke went all the way down in like the 11th. Like, nobody wanted Zeke. So,
Wow.
what's your take on the signing? Did you move Stevenson down, and then is Zeke even relevant for you?
I think Zeke is kind of relevant. I took him in the 11th as well in your flex league in New York, but of course that wasn't a super flex league. And
before, yeah.
And I was, I was kind of thin at the running back position, and I mean, we've been kind of playing this game with Zeke in New England for a couple
then let me rephrase the question for you. Are you happy that you got him in the 11th now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I figured that he would jump up a little bit. I moved him to RB 40-ish, 41, 42. It's in a tier with Jamal Williams and a bunch of like pass catching running backs like Jerick McKinnon and Samaje Perine and guys like that. And I'm pretty low on DeAndre Swift.
Right at 40, by the way.
Oh, wow. And I didn't really move Rhamondre that much. I got him at 12. I had him as a top 10 back. I had him right at 10. But again, we've been playing this game with Breece Hall and Rhamondre Stevenson. We've been talking on the show. Like, maybe you want to stay clear of those two guys because it sounds like the Jets and the Pats want to bring in help at the running back position. I feel like Rhamondre is going to be fine. He was top 5 in catches and targets last year among running backs. He's just a really good running back. I mean, he overtook Damian Harris last year. Damian Harris averaged 9.6 carries per game last year. Is that what Zeke's going to get this year? I think Zeke is an upgrade over Harris, and I just know what's going to happen. There's going to be times where Zeke is going to get the goal line carries. He just is. Like his involvement through the air has been on the decline the past couple of seasons. He hasn't been super efficient. He's good as a pass protector, and he's good near the goal line. Like that, those are two things that he can do very, very well. So
yeah,
I'm not worried about Rhamondre. I think even in the fourth there, I think it's still a pretty decent pick. And Zeke is just like a guy that, I don't know, you put him in your flex line. Like he put his flex, bye weeks, injuries. You just hope that he falls in the end zone. I kind of view his games as maybe 10 for 40 yards and a touchdown. Like maybe
40, not 33. Like this is going to go a little lower for the touchdown.
Fewer than 4 yards per carry, probably.
I'm with you. I apparently still am the one who. Why do I love Stevenson so much? I went from 8 to 10. My biggest difference is what you said. My concern is I don't think it's that he's sometimes taking the goal line carries. I think it's going to be frequent. And because if you looked at Zeke, even last year, Ezekiel Elliott was near the top of the league in efficiency of inside the 10 and somewhat inside the 20, but mainly inside the 10 goal line, goal to go. Near the bottom was Stevenson. So where I had Stevenson before this at 8 is because I said, I know he's been inefficient near the goal to go, but at the same time, I'm looking at Pierre Strong, Kevin Harris. I'm just like,
right.
I fine. How many times are you really going to come out for those guys? Well, I had him about 6 or 7 rushing touchdowns. I took Zeke in, added some of the rushes his way, but more importantly, some of the carries at the goal line, goal to go. Yeah. Those carries specifically, which factor that in. Yeah, Stevenson lost 2.5 rushing touchdowns. That's pretty significant. He went from almost 7 to about 4, like 4.5. Significant enough, but it was only a drop from 8 to 10 because that top 10 tier of running backs, you start getting question marks right after them. So there was actually a pretty significant gap between those and projections, and that's why I kind of kept them at 10. I'm not saying you're stupid low on it and I was super, but I go back to like Matt Forte's seasons when he scored like 3 rushing touchdowns. Like, I think that's fine for Stevenson. He'd still be a top 10 running back, and maybe he falls to 12, and you're more right than I am. But the point being is, like, we're in agreement that we're not that concerned, and we're also in agreement that Zeke deserves. So, like, if Stevenson gets hurt, it'll be 15 for 20 yards, but Zeke's gonna score. Like, I mean,
there's been lots of backs like that they're not quote unquote sexy, right? I'm sure his catches would go up if that was the point. Like he could still catch the rock. It's just they had a guy in Tony Pollard and Rhamondre Stevenson too. Like that's where I feel like Stevenson will be fine because he's still going to be a player. He was second on the Pats in targets last year. Like who are we really buying in this New England offense? Like Juju Smith-Schuster will probably lead the team in catches. Tyquan Thornton, I like him, but how involved is he going to be? Parker is not.
There's been reports that he's
really shown us. He's got to get on the field. And, absolutely. Maybe he's only getting on the field in 3 wide receiver sets. But this isn't going to be a good team. They're going to want to run the ball.
Tight end centric, LeGarrette Blount type year.
Yeah, and which tight end? Like Hunter Henry's going to have a couple grabs and one will be a touchdown. Gesicki is hurt, but when he's on the field, maybe he's involved. Let's be honest with the Pats. They're going to be a brutal football team, but they are going to use both of these running backs. And I don't know, Zeke could fall into 8 rushing touchdowns this year, and I would not be shocked one bit. So I
thought the Jamal Williams comparison was good. Well,
yeah,
what if? Would it be a shock? Would it be legitimately? Would it be a shock if they both play the full season and Zeke has like 10, 12 rushing touchdowns?
No, I wouldn't be.
I mean, I guess it would be a shock that the offense was that good.
Yeah. I mean, shout out to our guy, Mike Clay, who they did an ESPN fantasy draft last night. I caught a second or two of it, and Rhamondre was drafted, and they went to Clay, and Clay's like, man, you're going to be so ticked off when Zeke gets 10 rushing touchdowns. And it's like,
there you go.
It's not a stretch, right? To think that he could fall into those TDs. So I think that if you can get Rhamondre in the 4th in a regular draft,
you're trying to get us flagged on.
You.
Enunciate TDs a little bit better next time.
I can't do it. I'm here for the hits. And then Zeke, if you just, I don't know, like 12th round, 11th round, if he's hanging around, there's not a lot of backs in that range that are going to have goal line work, and that's significant.
Yeah.